welcome to another episode of TFU. We got the king of conspiracy with us today. Maverick, how you doing today?
Good. How you doing, bro?
Man, we got a bunch of questions to ask you.
I have a lot of...
I got so much stuff. We even going back to like OJ.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's a good one. But they do call me the coincidence specialist, not a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
Coincidence specialist. I just put the pieces on the board and connect the dots, and you can have your own decisions from there.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because,
that's fair.
You know, conspiracy theorists, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to that, people have a negative connotation with that. They're saying,
I don't.
I
get it.
I always say, you know, when it comes to conspiracies and the truth, the difference between the two is 6 to 12 months.
Man, I got so much stuff to ask him. Man, we might be here forever, man. I want to know everything.
Okay.
I want to know everything. So you're from Los Angeles?
I am.
Okay, so you based out of Los Angeles?
Yeah, no. So I moved away from Los Angeles. I'm from here. I was born and raised, but I got the hell out of here because it's just ever since COVID, it just went down in the shitter. Like I hate this place now. I'm sorry.
LA?
I hate it.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's lost its soul.
It's not the same.
LA has lost its soul, bro.
This is the only place in the world where the gardener can make $1 million.
That's true. Okay.
And see, I love that.
Right.
My gardener, rich as hell. I talk to him every other. I be like, this motherfucker got so much money, I could just smell it on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like a unique place where I really feel like when they talk about the land of opportunity and the United States being that, I think a lot of those dreams can come true here in LA.
That's true.
At least I feel like that.
Not New York?
Huh? I don't feel like when I get to New York, I just don't like it.
Yeah, New York is kind of a different animal. I think LA, to where you can be working at McDonald's and then the next day you're having a feature film.
There you go.
Because think about it, Brad Pitt, he used to work off of Sunset. He used to be the El Pollo Loco chicken.
Damn.
Yes.
In the suit?
This is in the suit.
In the suit?
It's a true story. Before he was Brad Pitt, he was the chicken in the suit, and then he became Brad Pitt. So I agree.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's
I
crazy,
ain't know
right?
that shit either, man.
Yeah.
There's hope for me then.
There you go.
You got to get a suit, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Chicken and Chips opens up.
Hey,
Call me the chicken man.
There you go.
So that is hilarious. So how long you been doing this, man?
So as far as the content stuff, only a couple years, like 2 years.
Okay.
And I mean, before that, I've been behind the camera for a long time, did real estate, tech, and everything else. I have a tech company and a media company. And even before that, I was in front of the camera. I was a child actor. I started around 4.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I did, Disney, Nickelodeon, all that stuff. I was the highest grossing kid at my agency at LA Talent, so I done all that. I done all the Hollywood stuff. And then I went into sports. So I stopped acting around 12-ish. And I was just thinking like an adult. I was like, I don't like this anymore. This is weird. I'm thinking, adult things. I'm around stuff that didn't sit well with me, right? Mm-hmm. So from there, I just got into sports and, basketball. I played.
When you say it didn't sit well with you, what part are you talking about? Because I know Nickelodeon, they had a bunch of issues.
Right.
And it sounds like you were doing well over there or just doing well as a child actor.
Right.
Is there something you saw or?
No, I didn't see anything. Okay. But I just felt like I was being exposed to a lot of stuff like an adult, right? So like one time I did this thing called Kids Songs, or not Kids Songs, sorry. It was a Disney sing-along.
Okay.
And it was like one of those beach party things, and we went out to Florida, and it was a bunch of kids. But they just kind of just let us roam free. And we had the hotels and all the fancy stuff. And we were just walking around by ourselves, having dinners and all that stuff. Like, it was just a lot of adult stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, it was fun, don't get me wrong. But then after a while, it's just, you start to see stuff and you start to get exposed to stuff. And you're like, I'm thinking like an adult. And that just hit me. Maybe not everybody else. Because you see these kid actors now, they all fucked up. So I got out.
Yeah.
I got out.
You got out before they ruined you.
Right.
And was it your sole decision? Did anybody in your family influence also you getting out of acting?
No, it was all me. So like when I went into acting, I was 4 years old, and it was something that I wanted to do. Nobody forced me to do anything, and I was just like, I want to do that, right? And then I did that, had a successful career, and then, yeah, around like 12-ish, 13-ish, I was like, this isn't fun anymore. I just had that thought hit me, and I was just like, you know what? I don't think this is for me anymore. And it just felt like I was an adult. I was growing up too fast. And then I still wanted to like go outside and play and everything else. So from there, I just got out.
What was the biggest role that you got as a child actor?
The biggest role. So I did a lot of stuff. I did McDonald's, Campbell's Soup, Sprite, JCPenney's.
Oh, so you get national commercials back then?
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, the checks was nice.
Yeah,
the
they
checks
nice.
was nice. Yeah.
Because back then, especially back then, they was paying real money.
They was paying real money.
Now they do buyouts, they
Right.
do all kind of stuff,
Right.
and they don't really, I heard on a national commercial, and I don't know, but actually my brother did do Nike, Just Do It. The first campaign for Just Do It,
Okay.
he did the first three commercials of that.
Okay.
And I know a national, he make like 150.
Yeah.
He did pretty good. And it sounded like you landed a bunch of them.
Yeah. I remember like at one time picking up like 10 checks from my agency at one time. So yeah, it was good money. The 90s money, oh yeah, it was different.
Your parents had to be mad as hell that you decided to quit. I know. I was like, what we doing? What we doing?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit, but like again, I had supportive family, and they're just
That's
like,
dope.
you don't want to do it no more? Cool, you out. So, yeah.
And how long have you been a coincidence searcher?
I mean, it all kind of came together. I always thought like this, but I just like to put pieces together, right? Whether it's like business or weird shit going on. I think that I kind of have that gift, or I've been told that. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can lean into that. So I've always thought this way. But when it comes to doing content, this is something new. But it's kind of full circle because I'm in front of the camera again. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm just being myself at this point. I'm not playing a character. So, yeah, I just think that I have that gift, and I want to be able to, show that and put pieces together, because people are like, it's a lot of weird shit that's going on right now. Right? So we need beacons of light to have, to look to, because people are always hitting me up. Hey, what's going on with this? Investigate this. And, I'll take on that role. So it's cool. As
a beacon of light, do you feel like your phones are tapped? People are following you? Your life is in, jeopardy?
Well, they definitely know who I am, because Kamala Harris reached out to me, tried to they try to turncoat me. So, but fuck her. No, I'm good.
How does that work?
Well, here's the thing. During election time, because I'm pro-Trump, I like Trump. I like what he's doing. And he's the last real president we've had in a long time, okay? He's not a puppet.
He's not a puppet, but he wild. He a wild boy, though.
He is. That's what we need. We need this.
What about the fact that, and we just, like I said, Trump, I don't like nobody. Okay. I only like people who's for me.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I care about.
I like that.
Are you for me? And as much as I like Alejandro, I don't give a fuck if they for Alejandro. If they ain't for me, they ain't getting my vote.
Damn.
And I'm just telling you what it is. I'm for the people that's for me. Now, Trump just did a move where he's letting all the white nationals come to the United States, but he's not letting the black nationals from Africa, I forgot to mention that part, from Africa, literally the white, what is it again?
What?
Yeah, he just did that. Oh, you don't know that?
No, I felt like, wasn't it South America?
Break this down. I want to hear this.
Wasn't it South America?
No, it's not South America. It's Africa. Huh. It's supposed to be the white people from Africa that want to immigrate to the United States. He allowing them to come over here and can become American.
Okay, so what policy is that?
I don't know.
Is that
I'm not saying. I just think it's weird, and the only part that I think is weird, that's cool. Whatever country they want to do, the white part, that part, fuck with me.
Okay.
Oh, the white South Africans.
Yeah.
South Africans.
Yeah, the white South Africans.
Okay.
So that part is weird. That's wild for me. And you say you like him. How'd you feel about that when it seems to be solely for them, And now even as a black African, you can't come over here and get the same treatment. Don't you think that's a little weird?
Well, for one, what policy is that?
Okay, I'll look into it.
What policy is that?
Because it's 59 white South Africans refugees.
So yeah, so when it comes to, he's trying to bring money in, right? So is that through the gold card thing he's doing, or that's just?
I'm not even sure.
Okay.
The only thing that alarmed me, because like I said, I'm for whoever's for me.
Right.
That's it. If you ain't doing shit on my behalf, I'd be like,
But here's the thing. So when people say that, who is for you? Who was for you at any point?
Nobody was.
Okay,
really.
then.
Nobody was. But and guess what? Most of them never got my vote. Period. Because I didn't feel like they were doing things that benefited me.
Okay. So here's the thing when it comes to whoever's for you or against you or whatever.
Right.
I always say Trump, he's not your savior. He's not my savior. He's not anybody's savior.
That's true.
But the system that we were in, he's shaking shit up only for whatever agenda he has. Cool. Within that, it's controlled chaos. I'm getting in where I fit in, right? Where these new policies, if there's money to be made, I've made more money during the Trump era than any other era.
I made a lot of money too.
I can dictate my life from there because if I'm in a better position financially, I can dictate my day versus letting all these illegals come in. They had open borders. Crime was going through the roof. Inflation was through the roof. But and that's the other thing too. Like people want to talk about certain things like goalposts moving with Trump, but people forget in his first term, he did have a bill that he brought back that Congress killed that gave historically black colleges billions of dollars. Nobody remembers that. Okay. So when we're talking about education and everything else, he destroyed, Department of Education. Well, Department of Education didn't serve anybody since its inception. The reading level for kids have went down. Okay. 65% of kids right now cannot read at grade level since its inception. So it works. And only 10% of that funding actually goes to the school. So where's the rest of the money going? So we have all these things in place that really doesn't serve us anyway.
What's the one thing that Trump has done that you feel like maybe not just you, but black people will benefit from other than, in his recent term that's going on
in this term right now?
In this term right now.
Well, it's only been, a couple of months, right?
Right.
So we can't fix, a whole entire country in a couple of months.
That's true.
That's one thing. Taxes, that benefits everybody, right?
Right.
Okay. So getting rid of the taxes, Federal Reserve he's trying to go after, innovation, cryptocurrency, because I'm a big advocate for that. So
I'm into crypto. I love crypto.
Yeah. So a lot of things that were held back, now we have a chance to be our own banks, become sovereign. Like when it comes down to the monetary system, we're in a slave system.
You start talking about sovereign citizen shit.
Oh yeah.
So you want some? Okay.
Yeah, I saw a video that you talked about how the tariffs actually are going to hurt China more than they're going to hurt us.
Well, yeah, because they can't survive a trade war. And you just saw that, they just backed off. And we have a 90-day deal now to where they're lowering the tariffs and we're going to lower the tariffs because they can't survive it, right? They make more money on us than we are on them. Okay? So that's one thing. And then two, just last month, Trump brought in $16 billion in revenue from tariffs. Is that not good?
That sounds good, but I don't know that where to go.
Well, again, we can move the goalposts when it's like, okay, well, where'd the money go? But that's the thing. I think that's the Trump effect, right? Every time he does something good, well, he did this, but he gave black people money, but this and that, and there's stipulations. It's like, well, he can't win for losing, right? So again, I think
any president is in that position, though.
Of course.
It's definitely a tough situation. I haven't seen anything great. I hope he does something great for all people, but definitely for me. Yeah. I'm really into it then.
As a business owner, this is the best time. This is the best time for this administration to be a business owner. That's all, because he's a businessman.
Oh, I know. He lowered taxes last time.
Yes.
When he was, and I loved that part.
Of course.
I did. I loved that part.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if he wants to, bring in people and buy a gold card for $5 million and everything else, cool, let's do it.
But do you feel like this administration is for sale? I'm just asking. The only reason why I say that, because didn't he just, for his coin, someone bring him $2 billion, and then after that, someone else brought him 2 million. They're buying up his coin. Do you think? I think that's such an odd position when you're the president and other people can purchase things for you. Therefore, you would think that they will have some form of influence in some way, shape, or form on the president. I think that's a unique position for a president to put themselves into.
So you're talking about his meme coin?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So that was a brilliant move, and let me tell you why.
Okay, yeah.
So the reason that's such a brilliant move that Trump launched his coin, he's showing you it's a free market again, okay? So before, the last administration was holding back innovation when it comes to the SEC, cryptocurrency, and everything else. They were holding it back for years. Now he's saying, hey, I'm going to do it. So now it's a free market again. You can participate in it. And now banks, they just, the U.S. federal regulators just said that now banks can participate without the Fed in cryptocurrency. They can buy, sell, self-custodial, all that stuff. So again, if he can do it, then everybody else can do it, right? It's a free market again, because if I want to launch a coin, I don't have to worry about the SEC and everything else, give it utility. Now, okay, if I have the heat coming down on me, well, wait a minute. No, the president did it, so I can do it. So I think it's good to be, in a free market again.
I definitely hear what you're saying on the free market part, but I'm more or less worried about the influence part.
I think they all have influence, whether you're, somebody in the House of Representatives all the way up to the president. They all have some type of influence, right? This is what lobbyists do. So same thing.
So I have a crypto question. Mm-hmm. Dogecoin, is it going anywhere? Or is it like, you should just drop it?
Look, it's a personal question. You can tell.
He's holding the bag.
This motherfucker.
He's holding the bag. So, yeah, I get it. I get crypto questions all the time. But, yeah, I mean, I think that when it comes to that, I think they may have some updates coming soon. But, I mean, as a long-term hold, it might do something in this cycle. I think every cryptocurrency is going to go up in this cycle. Depends how much. I don't know. But
it's going up right now. It's going up right now.
What's your favorite coin?
My own coin, Jet Set.
Okay, you got your own coin.
I have my own coin, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go look at that. How much is it per coin right now?
Oh, I'll tell you right now, it's below a penny. So, but yeah, so our all-time high is $8 million. And so yeah, it's 0.0004. So still pretty cheap. Yeah, but we're using that for rentals. We're using because I've been in luxury real estate for over 10 years.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, did over 10 million in transactions and stuff. So I'm just taking that business model into
I love
blockchain.
Real estate. I have properties throughout the United States. I own apartment buildings.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we gotta talk. Yeah, we gotta talk.
Yeah.
We gotta talk. That's dope. I own this building too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I own, wherever I'm at, I own it.
You need to tokenize this.
You got to explain to me what that means.
Okay, tokenization. This is what's happening. Okay? It's happening right now. So say you want to open up 30% of this building, right? You own it.
Oh, you mean apply a token to this building?
Correct.
Okay.
So say you want to add some liquidity, or you want to go buy more buildings, or whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. So you own it. 30% of it you could open up to the market. You're saying, hey, I'm opening up 30% of ownership, and you can get an ROI on these tokens, right? So 30% of it, you can buy, 10%, 5%, whatever. How many? Now you're part owner in this building, right? And they share in the revenue with you, and you take that liquidity and do whatever you want with it. So that's how tokenization works. It's fractionalized investments.
So it's like a loan.
Kind of like a loan, kind of like timeshare, old school timeshares.
Right.
But it's all on the blockchain.
Oh, okay. That's dope.
There you go.
I like that. That. No, that's dope. Now, like I said, man, we gonna get down to some of these goddamn. Tell me about Tory Lanez. Says, you said that he didn't do it.
He didn't do it. That's my opinion. Tory didn't do it.
Can you wrap our head around that? Because I don't understand what happened.
Tell me why he went to jail where the evidence, the DNA, was inconclusive. There's 4 strands of DNA on that weapon. There was a male, a female, another female, and another male. None of those were his, and he still goes to jail.
That don't make no damn sense. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, but I think he didn't do it.
And why risk your career He was at the hottest point of his career.
That's true.
Only to risk that and to shoot her? For what? And saying, dance, bitch, dance? Come on. That's all bullshit, right? And then think about this. He cracked the code when it comes to, because he was using cryptocurrency and blockchain and everything else.
He was big in it.
He was big in it.
He sold it, did his album that way, right?
Yeah, he made $1 million in a minute. Okay? So the industry doesn't like that. And he did that in like 2021. That was way ahead of his time.
He was independent too.
He was independent. He owned his masters and everything, right? So he was pissing off some very powerful people. Then Roc Nation wanted to sign him. All this is documented. He says no. And now
they want to sign it as a management deal or a label deal?
It was probably one of the two.
Okay.
But he said it on camera. He was like, I don't need you guys. No, thank you. And then all of a sudden, he gets hemmed up. And then the judge even said in his case, well, DNA doesn't matter. So that's on record because everything's public record. DNA doesn't matter, so it doesn't matter. So you're going to jail.
Now, recently, he just got stabbed a bunch. I think he got stabbed 14 times.
14 times.
You think they're trying to take him out?
Yes.
He recently released an album from jail, and he did numbers.
So here's the thing. He was in jail the entire time. Fine. Cool. Nobody messed with him. Nothing, right? Then he comes out with an album from jail, which sounds amazing. Then in that album, he's explaining to you, hey, this is the real reason why I'm in jail. Here's what this person did here. It's a dirty game. Listen to the album, right? Then he does an interview explaining the DNA thing. Now, all of a sudden now, he gets stabbed up 14 times right after this. Coincidence?
I don't believe in coincidences.
So why did she lie? Is she being somebody making her lie?
Yeah, of course. She even lied in her documentary.
No, I saw that. That was disappointing.
She lied about not having sex with him and then admitted.
There you go.
Yeah, that I didn't understand that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, she's under Roc Nation, right? We all know that. So this whole thing is being orchestrated. So did you know that, Tory's former lawyer, up until the trial time, because you have to get, have discovery and everything else, right up until trial time, his lawyer actually was in cahoots, allegedly, with Roc Nation. Okay? Sean Holiday. So, or Sean Holly. That's her name, Sean Holly. So.
And he didn't realize that?
I guess not, right? So tell me why she has a show called Reasonable Doubt based on her life, about her, and what is that name? The name of Jay-Z's first album.
Yeah, I try to tell him that all the time, but he just labels me as a Jay-Z hater.
I'm just bringing the pieces on the board, right? And the fact that, think about this, and the fact that her daughter, who's a singer, sang background for Beyonce. And not only that, but then you have all this stuff happen at the same time, and then like right up until the trial, then he finds out, then he fires her. They railroaded him from jump.
So you think the music industry is basically orchestrating this so therefore artists and new artists and young artists won't take the same route that he took?
Yeah. He's the calling card. He's the case study to where like, hey, you want to do this? Okay, you can try it. This is what's going to happen. That's what I think. It's a very personal vendetta for sure. And then, Meg Thee Stallion, their winning horse, pun intended, they wanted to protect her.
Is it like the higher ups talking to a Hove, or is it more like, okay, I did it this way, I don't want nobody else to climb to my status?
Well, it's definitely higher ups because you got to remember a lot of these CEOs, these label owners, they also have stock and ownership in private prisons. They go hand in hand. So think about it. It's a vicious cycle. The type of music that they promotes violence and all this other shit, and then they benefit off of these people going to jail. Now, if they die, guess what they do? They put a life insurance policy on them, so they make money even when they die.
When they're in jail, they have a life insurance policy?
No. Before, when they get signed,
okay,
the label,
talking about the label.
The label heads put a life insurance policy on their artists. So if they get shot or everything else, all right, cool, I'll cash out on them. I'll still make my money.
So Kanye kind of touches upon that, but is he like, speaking facts, or also he knows something and also he's going through something?
The thing about Kanye, he's a very interesting enigma, right? So I think that he is on point with a lot of stuff he says. He even mentioned, calling out certain people in the industry. He called out Jay-Z, he called out all these people, right? He said, I can't be controlled. Like, you can't control me. And at this point, we can all agree he can't be canceled. He just came out with a song called Heil Hitler. He can't be canceled at this point, right?
No.
So it takes a person like him to call out stuff. Now, if he just focuses a little bit more, then he'll be even that much more dangerous, right? Going against, this whole industry. But I think it is necessary, and I think it's something that, he does have some key points of what he's saying.
So the Illuminati is real.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I mean, I've been told by a government official that they are real.
Mm-hmm.
But the sacrifices and all the, child baby eating, that's real.
That's real.
That's real?
That's real. For sure.
Shit.
You ever heard of Frazzle Drip?
No.
Frazzle Drip? You never heard of it?
No. What's Frazzle Drip?
So Frazzle Drip, I mean, make sure you have a strong stomach before you look into it. But it has to do with Hillary Clinton. It has to do with a lot of other government officials, and has to do with kids. Has to do with... I'll say this. It's very graphic, but I'll say this. It has to do with mutilating people. I will say that. Because, you remember those files that she tried to get rid of, right?
Right.
So, in those emails and everything else, it was in there.
Like, is it similar to Pizzagate?
It's all tied in. It's all tied in. And they say Pizzagate was a conspiracy, right? But, a whistleblower not too long ago just got killed in a traffic stop, and he was one of the guys who was whistleblowing on Pizzagate.
So when celebrities say, "Oh, I love pizza" on network, it's not a coincidence?
No. Here's the thing. Ellen, back in 2014, if you remember, she did this whole bit at the Oscars talking about pizza. She was like, hey, I'm taking orders for pizza. She ordered pizza for the whole crowd. And it's for all these celebrities. It's fucking weird. Like, what is the whole shtick of this? Like, it's not funny. So why are we talking about pizza? It's all code. So she was like, hey, I'll order you a pizza and this and that. And they have different types of pizza, right? Hot dogs and everything else. So when you think about cheese pizza, it's child porn, child pornography, cheese pizza, hot dogs. Why did Obama order $65,000 worth of hot dogs? And you don't rent pizza. Hey, I want a pizza for an hour. So how does that make sense?
God, I don't know. You know what it is? You know what the whole thing about conspiracies, and when you start really getting into it, it make you not want to leave the house, man.
Yeah, I know.
You'd be like,
I know the feeling.
Yeah, you'd be like,
I know the feeling.
There was just I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a guy talking about aliens, and he was discussing. You probably already know about this.
Probably.
He was discussing that we are definitely in contact with the Greys. He named all 4 different species of aliens, and it was like I think I even sent it to one of my friends. But yeah, he was in this congressional conversation on trial and said these are the people that we're in contact with.
I believe that because there's something called the Galactic Federation, and this was in an article in NBC, and it was by a government official saying that, hey, not only that they exist, but there's a whole federation, Galactic Federation, look it up, to where they talk about the Palladians, the Greys, there's different types of species, the reptilians, and all this other stuff. So they're saying that basically there's a whole federation, it's like a government, that is essentially watching us and waiting for us to evolve to come, interact with them. So that's why we're seeing like bits and pieces of, stuff to be coming out.
When you say evolve, what does that mean?
As a species, right? So like right now we can't even get along on this earth. We're blowing each other up. We got, poisonous food and all this other crazy shit going on. So until we actually get civilized and get on one accord, they don't want us bringing that shit out there. We got nuclear weapons starting to get dangerous. We got AI. So that's what they're saying, like waiting for us to evolve and get into a better, kind of civilized, race.
Who's communicating with them?
Well, they're saying the government. They're saying that, there's a piece of the government that doesn't go away, like a shadow government. So they're saying they're
the shadow government.
Right. Exactly.
How you feel about Alex Jones?
You know what? I used to like him, but now I don't know. I don't know if he's compromised. People are saying he's a clone because he looks way different than what he did. Like
He's skinny, way skinny.
Maybe he's Ozempic.
Maybe he got skinny.
I don't know. He did. Maybe he's getting in the gym. He's eating right. I don't know. But I think that when it comes to him getting sued for that Sandy Hook thing, that's very telling because that was pretty weird.
He has to pay a lot of money.
Like $1 billion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
$1 billion?
Yeah, they hit him with $1 billion lawsuit.
And he lost?
Yeah, he lost.
That don't sound good.
Right? So again, I mean, for you to get sued and talk about Sandy Hook and all this other stuff, he could be compromised. I don't know.
Because he was very pro-Trump, and then suddenly I feel like he kind of switched on him, saying that, now Trump is compromised. I feel like the last time, I haven't paid attention to him in a few months, but the last time I paid attention to him, he kind of felt like he did a switch on Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I overall, in like the new media space, the podcast space, I feel like it's been infiltrated, and it's crazy. So this just happened on the way over here. So I think that they're targeting new media and everything else because there's these calls going around right now through Instagram, and it looks like a girl's picture, right? You think it's a girl calling you through Instagram. You pick it up, and it's literally some Colombian dude with bricks laid out. What you want, Papa? What you want? What you want, Papa? Which one? How much? And it's like, yo, what is happening? And I've gotten these calls. My brother's gotten these calls. People in my circle has gotten these calls. So I feel like they're trying to catch people up who are really about the new media versus these other people. I feel like there's agents throughout the whole new media space too. I don't really believe they just came up out of nowhere and they're getting these clicks.
So when Andrew Tate's saying like, the Matrix is against me, there is like a Matrix.
I believe so, yeah.
Like with the agents and all that stuff. Like, of
course.
But what do they want at the end of the day?
Control.
Control?
Of course. They want control like, any other power structure. You want power, control. So they want to control the narrative, who says what they do, dictate, money.
So going back to Pizzagate, because Alex Jones, I forgot, what's the Grove place where Gulak, the Owl...
you're talking about Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove.
Right.
That's all tied in with Pizzagate. And
Bohemian Grove is real. It's very
I know
real.
It's a real place, but do they still do that stuff?
I mean, they probably switch locations at this point, but it is tied all into that, and they worship the owl god and all this other stuff. So that's why there's like a big ass owl there. So I think it's all tied in.
That's the same place the boxer, the Hispanic boxer, was saying that they took him to, right?
Oh, Ryan Garcia.
Oh, Ryan, yeah.
So Ryan Garcia is not crazy. He saw some shit.
he probably is crazy after the shit he saw. Because he's saying, let him tell it, that he saw kids getting, assaulted and all this other stuff, and they tied him down. So, I don't know.
What's the craziest thing you've seen?
The craziest thing I've seen? I've heard a lot of crazy shit. I don't want to see a lot of crazy shit, but like... I mean, just on X alone. If you go on X, the feed, it's kind of crazy. If you follow certain things, it does get crazy. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I mean...
It doesn't make you want to be like, you know what? Maybe I should stop investigating. This is like it's getting too dangerous, too hot.
Not so much. Yeah, Hypercrush. I mean, when I used to do music, I saw a lot of satanic shit in there. I saw like groups to where I was working with, and I went to their house. There's a group called Hypercrush a long time ago, and basically was working with them. Went to their studio. Crazy big house, right? Like something that's just like a billionaire's house. I'm like, okay, how y'all get this money? Okay, let's move forward.
Yeah.
So, but then like after we kind of, were working with him for a while, I noticed something on the wall, and I'm like, what is that? And it was upside down cross. I'm like, okay, so what's that about? Oh yeah, we're anti-Christianity because they're liars and all this other stuff. Okay, cool. You can not be for Christianity, but you don't have to be satanic. So upside down cross usually means the opposite. So from there, I mean, we did some investigation, and I found out they had another group before that group, and it was called War Machine or something like that, and had 666 on the label of the front of the album cover. All this weird shit, and like the lyrics were wild, talking just blasphemous shit. So I'm like, okay, well, but that's all through the industry. I mean, that's probably the craziest thing I've seen when it just comes to satanic stuff. So,
well, we've had like an artist tell us that they try to push him to kind of like talk about violence, drugs, whoring and all that stuff, and they didn't want to do it because it's like that's the agenda they want to push.
Yeah, I think that's all part of the plan, right? So when you're talking about Sexy Red, come on, who's listening to that shit?
That's just wild to me.
She's a CIA operative. I don't care what anybody says. If you look at her before, she was a perfectly normal girl. Now all of a sudden, she got like this whole thing, tattoos and red hair. She has a makeup line named after STDs. Like, what are we talking about? Right? Like, so you're listening to that and thinking like, damn, this is some good music.
That should be blowing my mind.
Right?
I listened to it. I was like, y'all got to be fucking kidding me.
Y'all got to be kidding me.
There's no way this is hot.
That's the first thing I think. I'm like, okay, this is some CIA shit. It's got to be. They infiltrated. They put people like that in place to push them.
Is it to bring the brown people down?
Why are they so scared of us?
You know what? I don't think it's just based on race. I think it has to do with influence, right? So you could talk about black, brown, whatever, because, I mean, white people listen to that shit too. But I just think it's about influence and being, like pushing this whole degeneracy type of thing. Because, like, when you have a whole generation listening to that and then growing up, their psyche is thinking that that's okay. Like, oh, yeah, STD and this running and that and running trains and this. And, like,
why are white people so scared of black people? What's so unique about us, or what have we forgotten or don't know about ourselves that has the whole world so scared of us?
I mean, well, you do know melanin is actually an element. Mm-hmm. So it's just like platinum and gold and everything else. Like, it's an actual element. So I think it's deeper than just that. I think has to do with trafficking, because a lot of black people go missing.
I know.
A lot of black women go missing.
A lot of black women go missing.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's linked to trafficking, because you can harvest organs, melanin, all this stuff. So I think it's bigger than just that. But yeah, I mean, it does have a lot of benefits, as far as melanated people and everything else. But I think it's deeper than that. Yes, I feel like we have forgotten a lot of things when it comes to our magic and everything else, because they want us to be scared of magic and shit now, right? And I always tell people that's bullshit.
Magic is real?
Magic is real. Definitely real.
Like airbender type stuff?
No, like energy.
Energy?
Right, which is all proven, right? We know that energy is real. It's just manipulation of energy and everything else. But I always say, how is it that you don't believe in magic and everything else, but you believe in this whole construct, time? You believe in, all these different you believe in money. Money's not even real, but you believe in it so much that you break your back and go to a 9-to-5 and then still pay taxes. And then you go to the grocery store and pay taxes again, and go here and pay taxes again. You believe in that system?
I hate the system, but I don't know no way to break away from it.
Right.
At least from my point of view, but maybe there's another way.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I actually have a program called, it's not a program, it's more so of a community. It's called Break the Matrix, where I teach, a multitude of things when it comes to your health, the monetary system, just breaking away from the system in general. Because there's a lot of shit that we have to unlearn and relearn, because 99% that everything that you've learned is probably a lie. So I'm teaching you how to unlearn and relearn, because think about it like this. Your mind is like a digital card, like an SD card, right? You fill it with, knowledge. Now, you can't learn anything else if it's full, right? What do you have to do? You have to delete it. You have to delete all the footage or whatever else and then put new footage in. So your mind is like that. Because you won't be able to accept the new things unless you unlearn the old things.
Well, since we mentioned trains, Diddy's trial
Great
just
segue.
began.
It's a hell of a segue.
Diddy's trial just began.
Free Diddy.
A lot of
Free Diddy's crazy. What the hell?
You think Diddy did all that?
So, yes and no. It's very complex.
Come on.
It's very complex.
Okay.
So, I think that what they're putting on him, like with the RICO and all that, how are you in a RICO by yourself?
By yourself is ridiculous.
That makes no sense. But yeah, him beating up Cassie, yes,
No,
but
he
he's
whoop
not.
ass.
Yeah, of
No,
course.
he do that.
Yes,
do
he's
that.
drugging people. Yeah, of course. And that's the thing. Being from LA, I've heard the Diddy stories a long time ago.
Absolutely.
This shit's been going on for a minute. So they are allowing him
He
to
ain't
do
raping
this.
men, no. Diddy little. I'll slap the shit out of Diddy. It ain't no way.
He
It
ain't
ain't no
going
Hey,
for
he was
you.
like,
It
D,
ain't no way.
Hey, D, you looking good. Let me get some of that. What you doing? You knocking him out?
All day long.
Okay, okay.
But I wouldn't put those kind of questions don't come my way.
Right, because you're not, bringing that energy.
You're not trying to be an
yeah.
actor. You're not
Huh?
trying to be a musician.
It doesn't matter.
That's a fact.
No,
that's
You
a
want
fact.
men first.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I done been to parties. I done been there. I done seen it. All that. What they talking about, I ain't seen.
They scanned you and you're like, he's gonna put up a fight. Leave him alone.
Yeah, maybe not him, right? Like, yeah. But I mean, did you guys hear about the story? I don't know if this is true, but it kind of links up. So there's a story of him actually sleeping with the dad from Family Matters.
I've heard it.
I heard that.
That's crazy work. Right? And then people were like, wait a minute, so why? And he asked him, he was like, yeah, man, it's nothing like a man, begging for X, Y, and Z for money. And so I'm trying to break him down. So it might be a power thing, right? I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not. But there's a lot of evidence that, he is on that freaky side on both ways. He plays for both teams. Is that illegal? No.
Right.
But if you're going the way about it of like raping and all that other stuff, then yeah, of course. But then something came out just yesterday where Cassie, the male escort, they brought him up.
Yeah.
And he said, hey,
She asked for it.
Cassie actually was saying, hey, urinate in my mouth and all this other stuff. And she took the bread. Okay? Let's not forget that.
And came back.
And came back. So you can't just say that, oh, it's all on Diddy, because there's other pieces that we're forgetting. Lucien Grange, he was in the original case. Now, where is he? He dropped out of the case because they said it didn't have legs. So he dropped out of the case. So who's really pulling the strings? Maybe they're hanging him out to dry, right? He's low-hanging fruit. So they know he likes freaky shit. They know he likes to do all this stuff. So they don't want to look up the ladder. So put Diddy out there and let's put whatever we can on him.
So he's involved with all the Epstein stuff.
I think Diddy's list is Epstein's list. For sure. Because you have two billionaires from New York running around the same circles, right?
Yeah.
So you have these people that are wealthy, powerful, and they don't know each other. So what happened as soon as Diddy went down? Mike Jeffries gets indicted. The New York mayor, Eric Adams, gets indicted. Nobody's thinking about this, right? So you don't think he's telling? You don't think he's part of this? And Mike Jeffries, the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, he was part of.
He got out.
He got out because he said he had
He was
dementia.
in the same jail, right?
Yes, and they said he has dementia, and now he's unfit for trial. That's bullshit, right? But Mike Jeffries is linked to Epstein because he was put in place by Lex Wexner, right? That owned Abercrombie and Fitch, L Brands. Now, L Brands, he owned a multitude of businesses. He had Abercrombie and Fitch. He had Victoria's Secret. Now, who was his money manager and he left his estate to? None other than Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? So they're all running together. And you don't think Diddy knows this? Of course he does.
Now, the one thing that they talk about, at least me and my friends had this talk about, and maybe you can clear it up where we went wrong or what's right and what's wrong, is that they said Diddy, one, doesn't have anything in his name. Is that true?
I've heard a lot of that. Yeah,
It's supposed to be in his mother's name.
his mom's name. But a lot of celebrities do that. A lot of celebrities, they put stuff in their names and whatnot. But I think
Yeah. So the money that Cassie got, allegedly, she didn't get, or if she didn't get it yet, I'm not even sure. That they say
I know how she got the money. So here's the thing.
Okay.
So she didn't get the money from Diddy directly.
Yeah.
She sued the company.
There you go.
And there's board members on that company. They were like, look, let's get rid of this fast. And they have insurance. So when they get sued, guess who pays? The insurance does. Okay? So when you have board members, they all say, I get him out, pay her, get rid of it.
But see, this is supposed to be the same thing, or these are allegedly supposed to be the same people that just did Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a connection between the way these people move, where Mike said he didn't rape them kids, he never did it, but Sony went on and paid them anyway. So therefore, now it looks like Mike paid them.
It's a racket.
So then now, and so that's the same thing that they did to Diddy, and that's what makes me have a little remorse from him, just because of the fact that it sounds like he being set up. Now, it doesn't sound like Diddy. One thing I noticed is, like, when people are beloved, people start saying, hey, not him, not him. A lot of people ain't doing that for Diddy.
Yeah,
so he might be fucked up in a way. So, he's just not a nice guy somehow. Yeah. And he's just catching hell. And he probably did some of those things that they're talking about.
For sure he did.
Yeah. But it seems like he's being set up similar, at least me and my friends, when we kind of went down the rabbit hole, similar to the way they did Michael Jackson.
Yes and no. So Mike was innocent completely.
Absolutely.
Diddy, he was doing shit for sure. But putting extras on it, of course, because we're talking about power structure. Something else is at play. There's other people involved. They don't want their names out. So they're like, look, hang him out to dry. Put whatever we can on him. Yes, he did all that nefarious shit and weird shit, yes. But we got to look up the ladder. I always tell people, look up the ladder. Who else is involved? Because you got to remember, he sued that liquor company, and now all this shit is happening. Diageo. Right.
But didn't they settle?
I think they did. I think they did.
They settled before, almost like a year before, from what I understand.
And I think so.
So it makes it seem like they have no reason to attack him.
That's a great point. There you go. Another coincidence specialist right here.
But if they settle and we saying it's cool.
It's ego though. Like, you don't think that he's gonna, re-up and come back? If they gotta come out of any bread, that pisses them off. And they have egos, right? So you can double back and try to do some shit again or whatever else. But just taking them out the game is a better play on the chessboard.
Do you think the list and the tapes will ever come out?
So they're saying they're going to play off the freak off tapes, right? Now, what does that really mean, right? If it's consensual, it's not consensual, because now we're hearing that Cassie is,
4 days in a sex party seems excessive.
Hey, people trying to get roles. That's whatever they're trying to do, get a deal.
4 days is ridiculous.
4 days is crazy. But my thing is this. I think that we are going to see some names that's collateral damage. I think those are going to be like low-hanging fruit. I think we're going to see some things that... But here's the thing, too. That footage that we saw, him beating up Cassie in the hotel, they held that for 10 years. So somebody's pulling the strings, right? So somebody got paid off because he paid off not to get it leaked. And then all of a sudden, they're just using that at the perfect time.
But I thought the people that raided his house came across that footage and they released
That's
it.
bullshit.
You're not going for that.
Wasn't it
Homeland
released?
Security.
Nah, wasn't it released before the raiding?
No, I'm just look. Hey.
It was released before the raid.
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was released afterwards.
No, they used that as a piece on the board. They held it for 10 years. All of a sudden, somebody just has the footage and is going to release it at this perfect time. Then he gets indicted. Come on. Yes, he's doing a bunch of bad shit and like he's not a good person at all. I've heard personal stories where he's like, "Hey, here's $100. Go knock him out." That type of weird shit. like entertainment, wild. Using people as things.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit for sure. But there are other players involved, there are other power structures that want him out.
Now, the one thing when they talk about Diddy's house and all that stuff, you got to clear up these goddamn tunnels for me. Do these tunnels really exist?
So I can't confirm Diddy's house has tunnels, but
they're saying this throughout L.A.
Yes,
there's tunnels.
That's true. Yes, that's true. The Playboy Mansion had tunnels. That's confirmed. There's schematics running from the top of the house. You can see all the way, and it goes throughout the neighborhoods. Went to Warren Beatty's house, all these other houses in that area. Yes, they all have tunnels. Right. So that's confirmed. And Diddy's house is only, I want to say, less than a mile, like half a mile, 0.3 miles away from the Playboy Mansion.
But they're also talking about a Starbucks under there. Like, that's what messed my whole day up. I was like, it's a Starbucks under there? I don't
know about that.
Like, it's full on street. Like, is it stop signs? What's happening? Are you able to just drive and it's a special way to get in and
I don't know about that. I think that people are embellishing a little bit.
Okay.
But I mean, they're saying that, hey, have you ever seen a celebrity, a huge A-list celebrity drive around LA? They're always, underground in these tunnels. So I'm like, well, that's a good point, but that's still kind of a cop out. I don't think they got fucking Starbucks and Burger King.
Somebody would have taken a photo working at Starbucks.
Exactly. Like, where's the photos? Like, we got to see something. But I don't think that. But there are tunnels throughout LA and Hollywood for sure.
They got photos of Jewish people getting out of tunnels in New York.
Oh, I remember that. Remember that?
Yeah, and they talked about it for a day and then it was gone. Okay. But I don't like talking about those people a lot.
Oh, get some heart.
Oh shit. Yeah, but I remember that. Yeah, people forgot about that in New York where they're coming out of the tunnels and there were stained mattresses and all types of crazy shit.
So I kind of think if Diddy says he's going to get on a stand, he's probably going to die the night before, similar to Epstein.
Is Epstein alive?
Yeah.
Damn. So he's not dead?
He's not dead.
They show an autopsy saying that's not his ear.
It's not his ear. So the camera went out. The guard fell asleep. All this at the same time. Get the fuck out of here, bro. He's alive. He's probably back on the island. He's alive, for sure. I had a CIA operative. She is a psychic, because the CIA uses psychics. Okay. She used to work for the CIA. She told me. She was like, I looked into it, and she's a remote viewer and everything else. She told me that Epstein is alive.
Is Tupac with him?
I don't know.
No, Tupac, he dead.
Oh, you think Tupac dead? He did leave a lot of clues.
Yeah.
He left a lot of clues.
Maybe he's in Cuba. Who knows? But
that's what they said. They saw some dude down there looking like him. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he got shot twice, though. Like, the first time, the second time, like, damn.
His auntie did escape jail and went to Cuba, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be. Yeah. Could be. I mean, he left a lot of clues in his last album, so.
Yeah.
With Machiavelli and, that person actually being a historical person who faked his death. And so.
Oh, maybe.
He was talking about the Illuminati back then, and nobody knew what the Illuminati was.
Right.
Have you had any, interactions with the Illuminati? Like any strange,
They asked you to join. You joining?
Well, the CIA wants to hire me. Oh. They want me to go to Langley. Because they were like, yeah, the way you put your videos together is really impressive. And you should come take a tour. And this is a government official who DM'd me. So I'm like,
Will you take the tour? Do you feel it's a setup?
I've been told not to go.
Why?
By the psychic. She told me. She told me not to go.
Oh.
Have you seen Goodfellas?
Yeah.
When Tommy gets made, he's like, oh, come to this room. And then he shows up to the room and then they whack him.
Oh, yeah, they hit him. Yep.
See, that's like, you're doing the Lord's work, but it's very, I'll be scared, Yeah. Because even right now, I have shit, but I'm always, anybody who drives next to me on a red light, I get antsy. I don't like people being parallel to me. So I would assume.
You think they're gonna
Your ass is safe.
hit you?
Ain't nobody looking for you.
Exactly. Nobody's looking for me. Maverick, that is different. You know, anytime it's like, even AD is like, hey, come to this podcast. You never know what you're going to show up to. How did you find the courage?
I think preparation eliminates fear, so I'm always prepared. Right? So, like, I have safeguards in place.
Oh,
I'll say
love
that.
it.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So what's your method of research? What's the best, like, you know, websites and stuff to find information that you know is vetted? And because right now, like when I was looking at the South African thing, I'm like, yeah, BBC, USA Today, right. NBC. I see all those as, okay, these are liberal medias. And then when I see the New York Post, I'm like, okay. So I always take my news with a grain of salt. So how do you vet information, deal with information, knowing which is real and which is not?
I just cross-reference, right? So, like, I'll look at some left-leaning type of news, some right-leaning, and then kind of compare and contrast, look at some independent articles and whatnot. I think that's the best way to go about it. And then, of course, using AI and everything else, cross-referencing, kind of seeing, hey, is this true? Is this not true? Looking back into history and kind of putting the pieces together. I have my own formed opinion, but I always just put out the information so you can have your own decision as well. So from there, I never claim, be like, hey, this is true or this is not true, but look at these three things, and they could be all linked. And that's kind of how I present myself. But that's how I kind of do my research.
So how you feel about the American Pope?
Very interesting. Very interesting. So he was born and raised in Chicago, and they say he's part Creole.
I've heard that. Yeah, he claims that he is not black, but there's his family is
got
Creole.
a little cut on him somewhere, right? So that's what they're saying. They're like, oh, it's the first black pope, but not really. But yeah, that's what they're saying. I think that America has taken control of the Vatican. I think that Trump posting a meme, him dressed up as the Pope days before, and then we have an American Pope? You don't think he knew? When J.D. Vance visited the last Pope who just died, he visited him on Easter, and then a day later he dies like he knew? Y'all don't think he knew? Of course. Something's happening right now in the new regime, so there's a whole shift happening. So I think that we've taken control of the Vatican.
Is it for the good?
I don't know. We'll see. I think that the Vatican has a lot of secrets. They have a lot of, and whatever's in that vault. I don't know if you know about the Vatican vault and all that stuff.
That there's a bunch of books. A
lot of books. A lot of magic.
Part of the Bible is supposed to.
Because there's bits and pieces of the Bible that's missing.
Yeah, they didn't took out.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they supposedly have. So I don't know. Wait, some breaking news. We got breaking news. Oh, we got okay. Word is people are already dipping out of the Diddy trial as prosecution seems to be focused more on domestic violence than RICO charges. Oh.
Free Diddy.
Damn, he might be getting off.
Hey, listen, it's hell to pay. They let this nigga get loose. It's over with.
Bro. Okay.
He's trying to touch everybody after that.
Dude, okay. So that RICO case that they're trying to put on him is falling apart. It's only day 2. Right? So now I knew that was going to happen because they released that footage. They can get him on domestic violence and all that.
Easy.
But that's like a slap on the wrist, though.
That ain't shit.
Right?
Yeah, he can't go to jail over that.
Man, this is crazy.
Is there a statute of limitation on domestic violence? Because we already know the tape is old, so how is that even relevant? Like, domestic violence ain't murder. Murder's forever.
And she already got paid, too. So, like, you already settled. So, I don't know.
He get loose? Then what about the phone interview with Diddy talking to his son and talking about, it seemed like he was talking to Jay or referring to Jay. Have you heard from him? And stuff like that. He was like, I ain't heard from him.
I felt like that conversation was fake. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You did?
Think it was AI?
No, yeah, it's because he showed me the thing and it's like, it's a weird Instagram account, and then you know by the comments, the shares, the views, you kind of he's like,
Yeah, you can tell if something's kind of fabricated.
What did you think about it?
I think it was fake too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I really believe that.
Maverick say it's fake. It's fake. That's that's how that goes right there.
I don't know if that's all the way legit because there's nothing else really backing that. So.
Oh, okay. So you wasn't going with that one.
Nah, I don't think so. It did sound kind of weird, and you have these random accounts just posting, like how you said. So could be they trying to just get clicks. So
I think they kind of underestimated Diddy. They didn't know how comfortable he was going to be in jail. Like he ain't tripping.
That's a good point. I mean, he's a billionaire. He does have a lot of money. He does have, I mean, the third witness just disappeared. You guys saw that, right?
Nah.
Third witness got paid off for sure because they were supposed to come to the trial and be a victim witness, and they're gone.
Man, this shit is happening.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, we actually know somebody who knows her.
Oh.
Okay. So my boy actually knows her, and she probably got paid off. That's what I think. Because that's the thing. Like, why would you just disappear? Because you got money.
Oh, yeah. But to me, even the thing that happened to Bill Cosby, when the girl was, Bill got $400 million, and now we got the one person, the only person that could take him down for something. It's like you give her $40 million, you walk away, you call it a day. If they don't take that money, it's nothing they can do to repair their life if it is damaged in any way. And I don't personally believe that none of that stuff was real. But for them not to take that money is crazy to me. Yeah. So therefore, someone's paying you so you don't have to take that money. To me personally.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so if she's,
And that's the thing, too. Like, he was trying to buy NBC, too. Just saying.
Oprah was, too. They both took a shot at NBC.
I think that Oprah, though, she's completely compromised, though.
No. You see what happened to her?
What?
You know what happened to her. I'm sure you know. Her network. She don't own it.
Yeah.
She woke up and the money was in her account.
Well, yeah.
She's part of the pizza gang, though.
Yeah.
My whole thing is that's two lawyers on both sides, on both parties, colluding and making sure they got a plan in place. Because for her not to know that the Discovery Channel can do that to her is wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, she's controlled, though. She's a controlled op. So
what does that mean when you say that? Because I always hear stuff like that. What does that mean? She not...
Hey, you're a billionaire until we tell you you're not a billionaire. That type of shit. We're going to put you in place. We're going to give you some money. We're going to make you this mogul. And if you fuck up and go against the program, guess what? We're going to take all this shit away and put some allegations on you. Now you have nothing. So do what we say and tell you how to do it. And when we say jump, you say how high. So
getting rich ain't safe. There's no safety in that.
No, there is. There's new ways. This is why I really fuck with cryptocurrency because this is a new way. This is a new regime, right? I know millionaires right now that you wouldn't even think that we'd be millionaires in cryptocurrency. You got 19-year-old kids making $100,000 a day off crypto, right? So you don't have to be compromised or anything. You just have to be ahead of these new technologies.
But the only thing about crypto, remember, because a lot of those crypto billionaires were coming up missing.
True.
And the reason why they're coming up missing is because of the way the money is moved around and it's undetectable and things like that. So therefore, if people kind of indicate they are a billionaire and then, someone comes and robs you and holds you up in your house for the next 5 days till you give up the code.
That just happened too. I saw somebody. That somebody just got held up. And they were saying, give us the codes to your crypto wallet because they know he had millions. So, yeah, it's getting crazy for sure. And that one of those billionaires, actually, he posted on X right before he died. And he said that the CIA and the Mossad is after him and all this crazy stuff. My girlfriend is an actual agent.
That the one that drowned in Puerto Rico?
Yeah. Oh boy was like, yo, my girlfriend's compromised. My girlfriend ain't my girlfriend. It's weird. And then he ends up dead.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah. So that's the downside to crypto. When I was like,
they're the perfect person to rob.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the safeguards in place, then
Yeah, I mean, you got to have an army outside.
yeah.
But then even in, like you said, sometimes within your army or within your, the people you hang out with, they might be compromised and they're operating on a whole new agenda against you.
Yeah, no new friends, man.
Do you think the Shannon Sharp allegation thing was that he wasn't following the rules, or just like it's just a woman trying to get money? What do you feel about Tony Busby?
Two-part question. So, with Shannon, horny men never win. They don't. Control yourself. And that's the thing. I love women. I love all kinds of women, beautiful women, right? I love them. But don't let it fuck up your bag. I don't care how bad you are. I'm not messing up my paper.
Ever.
There's no pussy on earth worth that. I do not care. Okay? So she saw an opportunity. She know that Busby, he was trying to fight Jay-Z. She probably, got with him because he was losing that case. Got coerced into that. Hey, this is low-hanging fruit. We can get a bag out of him. So I think that's what happened, right? And then it goes into this whole, like, race theory I think that they're trying to pull right now. They're trying to start a race war. So I think they're pumping that up using Shannon Sharp. Old girl who raised like $1 million. Shiloh Hendrix.
Yeah.
Calling the little kid an N-word. And all that shit.
Wild.
And then you have before Carmelo Anthony. So we have all this like black and white race thing that's being pushed to the forefront. So I feel like they're trying to push this race war thing. So I think that's just another piece on the board as well. But yeah, he was just he didn't know how to handle his whole situation.
Fame. Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting all this money and it's a 19-year-old girl. It's like, what are you gonna do with her? I'm like, come on, man. Like, we gotta move more correct. You getting too much money out here.
I heard a report that he met her at a Diddy party when she was 17, like a ex-bodyguard of Shannon.
Yeah, he met at the gym. Like, I don't believe that story either. Like, that's some bullshit. Like, that's another thing too, man. They like, oh, Diddy party, 17-year-old. Like, how? Come on, bro. Just everything's on Diddy. Like,
Yeah.
nah,
He's
I don't
the
believe that.
boogeyman.
Yeah, they make him. I really think Lucien Grange is worse. Lucien Grange, the CEO of UMG, for sure.
Kanye hates him.
Yeah. I mean, you know why, though, right? Because think about this.
He owns all the music.
Not only that, but he controls a lot of things that go on in the industry to where artists are finding out, right? Because UMG, they're infamous for taking royalties. Mm-hmm. So think about this. Drake held everybody down for 15 plus summers. He was the most beloved artist on earth. All of a sudden, we all hate him, right? Think about that.
I was never a Drake fan. Let me go and put that out there.
That's fine.
Never. And you know that.
That's cool.
Okay.
See, that's fine.
Do you have a following statement after that?
No, that was just it. I was just going to end it right there.
But here's the thing. All of a sudden, we love Kendrick. He's like the most beloved artist, and
I was surprised all the views his freaking videos get.
And those bots. Those are bots. So here's the thing, too. When it comes to Lucien Grange, he was high-fiving Dr. Dre at the Grammys. And then a week later, after Kendrick won all those Grammys, and he should have won a Grammy for his first album, but now he's getting all these Grammys, and then he does the biggest stage on earth, Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. All that shit is orchestrated, bro. And here's the thing, going back to Michael Jackson, this is the same thing they did to Michael Jackson. They put the pedo thing on him, just like Drake, and I didn't fuck with that. This is why I think Drake won.
I hate that too.
That's not cool. That's not fair.
That shit weak. And if we think Drake is a pedophile, that's just fucking ridiculous.
Crazy. Come on, bro.
It's ridiculous. He way too popular to pull that shit off.
Right.
It's impossible.
You know how much ass gets thrown at him?
Yeah, it's just like, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? We gotta like really have some real conversations and discernment. Because
so why is UMG mad at Drake?
Oh, because of his deal. He had a deal that
he had a deal coming up on the table.
Yeah.
They say he was gonna get what, $500 million?
Yeah. It's about the money.
Yeah.
And his masters. All of a sudden, that deal comes up. He comes out on top, and now you want to, put all this stuff on him now?
But does he have the music industry in the headlock right now?
Who, Drake?
Yeah, because they don't want those contracts to come up to be shown, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing too, when it comes to all these artists, like they owe him. He gave people a lot of fucking hits. Did. And just think about now, all of a sudden, the entire industry, a 20v1 on Drake. You don't think they're getting marching orders? Come on.
That would probably make me like him again.
Here's the thing too. Going back to Michael Jackson, think about this. Sony ATV, that deal that he did, right? Biggest deal in music history at that time, right? Couple years later, then what happens? Gets hit with allegations. We ain't never seen that. All of a sudden, he's a pedo, he's messing with kids. Because what? They wanted those masters, right? And he's getting extorted. And then even Michael Jackson's second case, that was about Epstein. That was a smoke and mirrors play for Epstein because at the same time Mike was going through his second case, guess what's happening at the same time? Epstein's first case. Nobody knew who Epstein was at the time. All smoke and mirrors. Oh yeah, he's been through this before. Let's put it on him again. Meanwhile, Epstein's going through this whole thing. Nobody even knows who he is. He's paying people off and everything else. Slap on the wrist and keeps it moving at the same time.
Who's pulling the trigger for all this shit? Like, what's going on? You can't even get rich. You can't even live your life. You can't create a dynasty for your family. You can't get ahead, it seems like. It seems like somebody's going to pull your coattail and try to pull you down.
I think if you move correctly, I think that especially when it comes to like the entertainment industry, people are way too sloppy. But any industry, I think that if you ruffle enough feathers and don't align yourself correctly, then yeah, they're gonna come after you.
But if you say align yourself correctly, now you playing by their rules.
No, I would have my own community. I have my own, structure to where, build your own ecosystem to where you don't have to get bought out and everything else, right? Because once you start playing by their rules, you're not gonna win. The best way to win is not to play.
Right.
So is there a cure for HIV and cancer?
That's a crazy segue.
He getting his shit out. He getting his shit out. It's like, I got this.
I think so, yes. I think so, yeah.
Sure.
Because
Dr. Sebi, they took him out.
Well, he won that case. He went to court and proved that he had a cure for...
But that was a long time before, though.
Yeah.
That was a long... What is that, like 20, 30 years before, right?
Yeah.
The case that he won in New York about being able to say that he can cure AIDS and cure a bunch of other diseases.
Yeah. So why didn't he lose that case?
Oh, because he had proof.
Exactly. Right? So
he had proof.
He had that proof because he was using soursop, sea moss, a bunch of other stuff. He was showing that, mucus is linked to a lot of diseases. If you alkaline your body, you can get rid of a lot of stuff. So he was showing that for sure.
Yeah, but it was a bunch of naturopaths that were being killed also. I think it was like, I don't know, like the last, before they even got to him, I think they were like on number like 48 or 50 or something like that. They were wiping them out.
Yeah.
You believe RFK is trying to make America healthy again?
I believe somewhat, yes. I believe he's on the right path so far. So I think that him getting rid of, those food dyes.
Has it happened yet?
Yeah. He removed red dye.
He didn't remove it though.
Well, they're phasing it out.
It's not a law. It's not a rule yet. It's an option.
Yeah, it's getting there. So we're taking the right steps, right? So when you're talking about taking the dyes out the food and everything else, so the cosmetic industry did that like 20 years ago. So it takes us 20 years later to figure out, we shouldn't ingest it either, which is crazy. But that's where we're at. We're taking baby steps. I think that, we can't cure the whole thing in like a matter of months, right? So we're talking about a whole power structure, a whole system that's been built up for decades and decades. And we're like, well, this administration better fix this, or you can't fix it in 4 years.
So the educational system, the jail system, the health system, it's all one big...
It's all a scam.
It's all but they work together.
Of course.
They all take, they follow the same orders.
Of course. Why do we have a Food and Drug Administration? What does food have to do with drugs? Because the food makes you sick, and then you got to take what? Oh, the drugs. right? So it's all one big thing. Same thing with the school system and prison system. Like, it's all one big scam. College is a scam. All the shit is a scam.
Fuck. Can't do shit.
Unlearn, relearn. That's what I'm preaching. That's what my whole community is about.
Now, speaking of segues, tell me about this moon landing. So it never happened?
So I'll say this about the moon landing. Yes and no at the same time. This is why.
Okay.
So there's a movie called Fly Me to the Moon that just came out last year.
Right.
Yes.
I think that really happened. I think two things were happening at the same time. They faked the moon landing to show that, because just in case the real mission, anything, they didn't make it or went down or something catastrophic, they didn't want to air that, right? So they want to air the fake one and really go to the moon landing. So I think that we really been there, but what really happened is they found out something was occupying the moon already, and they got shooed away, okay? So Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin said, when we got there, we were shooed away. And then when they landed, it rang like a bell when they landed. That means it's hollow. In which gives way to it's a base. Because I don't think the moon is actually just a rock. I think it's a base. So a good colleague of mine, big homie BH, he does, security guard work for celebrities and government and everything else, right? He told me a story that he wanted to get hired. Somebody wanted to hire him, Sergeant Carl Wolf. Now, he was working for NASA, and he said, hey, can you bodyguard me? I'm about to go in front of Congress and show these photos that NASA wanted me to scrub. Now, on these photos, they were saying that, scrub these so we can release them to the public. Now, what's on these photos is there is a truck-shaped type of machinery thing on there to where it's like 2 miles long, and they wanted to scrub that, right? So he says, no, I can't take the job above my pay grade. So he denies the job. His car is still getting broken into and all this other stuff weeks after. Then Sergeant Carl Wolf ends up getting hit by a car, and he's dead. So if it wasn't real, then why are people getting hit by cars?
Yeah, somebody recently got hit by a bus, too.
Oh, yeah, the Epstein victim.
Yeah.
So she gets hit by a bus, right? Then a month later, she suicides herself. Coincidence, right? It's pretty interesting. But yeah, so I think the moon landing happened, but something else happened that we don't know.
There hasn't been another trip to the moon, right?
Nah.
No, right?
Well, they said we lost the technology after we came back.
That's the thing that makes no sense. If we can get there in 68.
Yeah.
And we have more computing power in our phones
Yeah.
than that whole mission. And we can't get back?
And other countries haven't tried? Why hasn't Russia made it?
They probably have.
Yeah.
They probably went there.
And got shoot away?
Probably. I think so. But I think it's a base, though. I think the moon itself is... I always watch movies, right?
It's a satellite.
It's a satellite. It's a base.
Controlled by who?
That I don't know. Yeah, it's not in ancient pictures. Go back to cave paintings and everything else. Ancient pictures, the moon's not there, right? So...
Oh, that's crazy.
Even with the moon itself, it really looks like, what? The Death Star. Now, you remember in Star Wars, right? The Death Star looked like what? The moon. That was built and brought to a system. So I think that's what it is.
Mentioning, the Death Star, I have this theory of mine that Hollywood was preparing us for the pandemic. Because, the biggest movie of that era was Avengers, Endgame, and the one with Thanos.
The blip, right?
Yeah, the half of, humanity disappeared. And then, kind of preparing us. And there's other movies like Kingsman. That's the plot, too. That we're overpopulating the earth and we need to cut in half. Was that their plan that they felt the earth was overpopulated and they had to... Or is it more, okay, how do we control people even more?
So now you're talking about COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You just switched.
Yeah, I know. I got a lot of,
just made the switch. The one thing I wanted to say about the moon landing, not to negate his question, is that I heard the people who created that movie that you said was made last year, I heard they asked them for footage, and they didn't. They said they didn't have any footage. It was all deleted. It got deleted by accident.
Interesting.
Now that part was wild for me.
So they have deleted footage. How did the footage get there? And they're saying the first man that was on the moon, the camera that was filming it, who was filming that?
They say that's why they unalive Kubrick.
That's a great point, because they're saying that he actually directed the moon landing.
Yeah.
Right? And there's clues throughout his movies, too. So if you look at The Shining, the little kid is wearing the Apollo mission shirt on his thing. Looks like a Hollywood, kind of Hollywood basement type of thing. They said in the Red Hot Chili Peppers song. But yeah, I think that it was definitely staged for sure. And how did they get the footage back?
I don't know. And they say like the flag also, that in gravity wouldn't float that way.
The president called from a landline. How was he talking to them? Nobody thinks about this. Like, what type of technology did they have back then? So
I don't get signal in your house.
yeah, exactly. We barely get signal now. You go underground somewhere, it's a wrap.
What's this thing about the Simpsons? The little cartoon.
Oh, predictions?
Yeah, what's going on with that whole thing?
I think that, again, they have to show you before they do it. So with The Simpsons, I mean, that's the longest running TV show, not just cartoon, TV show ever.
Right.
So why is that? Right? So I think that they just show us through media, and that's just one of the facets that they do it in. But also, Matt Groening, he's a Freemason too. So there's that. Oh, yeah. This is crazy. There's a cave painting. This is real. This is from ancient Egypt, right? It's a sarcophagus that they found that looks exactly like Marge Simpson. No bullshit. Has the dress, the hair, everything. How?
I always assume he was a time traveler because he also did Futurama, and he always predicts stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, he comes from the future and then just came here and then just, make himself millions.
If he's not a time traveler, he peeked into time, right? So that's how he's making all these predictions. That's one of the theories. He can see into the future and see what timelines come true or whatnot and everything else. Because how are they predicting all this stuff?
Right.
Like they predict a lot of shit. So
You mentioned something with Simpsons. So we got to talk about O.J. Simpson.
Oh, yeah.
great segue. He's a segue king.
I believe he didn't do it. He believes he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Why are they taking O.J. down?
So a lot of people forget this about O.J. in this whole case. He knew who did it. He didn't do it.
Definitely could feel that.
Yes. Okay? He knew who did it. But here's the thing. Here's a key piece that everybody misses. Nicole Simpson, her handyman, is a serial killer.
That's true.
Nobody thinks about this.
Blonde women, right?
Yes, he's called the Casanova Killer or the cross-country killer. Okay? He killed over 70 people, women, because he liked to kill women, going around the cross states, killing people.
Yeah, I heard
that was her handyman. He was never a witness, never a suspect, nothing. And we're just going to throw it out the window? So I think that OJ probably hired him or knew, or he at least knew, right? Put him up to it and was like, yo, I want to offer, but I ain't going to do it. Let me get an actual serial killer.
But then that kind of means that OJ knew that guy was a serial killer?
I think so. Right? I think he had to know, at least.
What about the fact that she owed drug dealers money and all that stuff? None of that. You're not.
It could be that too, because, I mean, again.
Colombian necktie.
Yeah, he could be hired help to offer. So, could be that too. But it's a lot of evidence to where it shows that he didn't do it, but he had to know.
Oh, yeah. He knew.
Because people were saying it's his son and everything. I don't think so. I think
he went to the crime scene, saw that shit, and just left.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, maybe he was checking on the worker. Like, all right, let me make sure.
I always kind of felt like it was the drug people let him know, hey, are you gonna pay this debt for Nicole?
No.
And if I'm not. He's like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing it. They was like, all right, we're gonna put that hurt on her. And later on that night, he went over there just to take a peek and see what was going on.
That's what I think.
And then was like, oh shit, it happened. I need to get the fuck up out of here.
Right.
Recently,
it makes sense,
in the
bro.
news, it came out saying that OJ was working with Colombians to bring drugs in. I don't know if you saw that.
That's a crazy theory. That could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
The man cannot rest in peace without getting accused of shit.
I just thought it was crazy that people were like, literally, when he got free, they were crying in the streets. I thought that shit was wild.
It was a crazy time, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
That was the biggest case on earth.
Yeah.
That was a wild time. Do you guys think this case is going to be bigger than OJ's? Diddy?
Well, you just mentioned that people are dipping, so I'm not sure. I thought it was.
Yeah, it's kind of be like a lackluster type of scenario. Like, damn, we thought we was going to get something crazy, and then people were dropping out.
Right now, what's the RICO charge? How are they basing that?
I don't even know how you're in a RICO by yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, so that's probably going to fall apart.
It already is. People were like, well, the basis of it, it's like you can't be in a RICO by yourself. It's conspiracy. It's a group of people doing all this shit. It's like, well, how are you doing it by yourself?
So then if that falls apart, what are they going – I know they also talk about that he was overcharged, and I never, like, what are they saying that what charges does he have on him?
That's what I'm really trying to figure out, right? They can get him on the domestic stuff, the trafficking.
But you can't get people on domestic stuff 10 years later.
Yeah, because even the actual law, they updated it to, I believe in 2020.
Okay.
To where they said the statute of limitations does go like 5 years longer. So, but that was still 10 years ago.
Yeah, I heard they did something tricky in California based on that, but he's being trialed in New York.
Yeah.
Even with that, like domestic violence, what he did, you don't go to prison for that.
Nah, he's not going to prison for
like
that.
you get a fine. You
can get you can get out. Like he's a billionaire. Probation.
If he get free though,
man, it's gonna get crazy.
It ain't safe.
It's gonna get crazy.
It's gonna be safe for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be safe for me for sure. I was like,
It's wild because did you guys see all those influencers not too long ago, like some months back, to where these private investigators were going to these influencers talking about Diddy? Did you guys see that? Okay, so there was all these private investigators, or it was one set, visiting a bunch of influencers talking about Diddy, and they were like, hey, you're talking about Diddy a lot. Is somebody paying you to do that? And they're like, well, why are you here? Like, people were getting scared. They're videoing this. And they were saying, yeah, these guys visited my house and all this other stuff, and they're asking about the Diddy case. Can we pay you to talk favorably about Diddy? How would that sound? This is real shit is happening.
Oh, shit.
It's crazy. So there's they said they had a list of these Diddy influencers, right? And I'm surprised they didn't come see me because I was one of them. Like all my Diddy videos went crazy, but they were trying to pay him off to talk, okay, maybe favorably about Diddy. So I thought that was very interesting. So he has tentacles everywhere.
Is he paying you?
He's not paying me, but I'll take some money.
He'll take the bag.
Yeah.
He'll take the bag.
Diddy, come on now.
But it's gonna be interesting though, like the whole Diddy case, because that RICO is falling apart. It's gonna be interesting if they can get him on the trafficking or anything else. I don't know what else they can really get him on.
Trafficking?
Yeah.
Who are they saying he trafficked?
Well, technically they're saying like when you get flown out and all this other stuff, that's why I don't fly women out. You pay for your own ticket. I'm not doing that shit. Because they can be like, oh, you moved me across state lines, and when I got there, you did that. No.
They can get you for, shit.
That's trafficking. So if you're moving people against their will and across state lines, that's...
Against their will? You're not there. They just got on the plane.
Yeah, they can say anything, though. I got assaulted, this, that. And I'm not saying that's the case for Diddy. Like, he may have been doing trafficking. We don't know. But in general, like that's a slippery slope, right? Because we've seen a lot of cases. They're trying to come after Russell Brand now.
Yeah, they are.
They're coming after a lot of people, like, oh, assault cases here. Like, they're throwing them out like candy.
Like one of the biggest podcasts, and then suddenly, right? And he doesn't seem. I don't know him. He doesn't seem like that guy, but I don't know him.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard stories to where, like, when he was an actor, he was on set, he was, doing funny shit, and he was like flashing himself to the crew and all this. But it's like, all right, well,
that was that era, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was that era to where I'm not condoning that, but a lot of people were cool with a lot of shit back then to where it's like questionable now. It's just different times, right? So same thing with Harvey Weinstein. Everybody who's famous now, all these actresses who was down with that, now they're like, oh, I got my money now. I'm famous. It's cool. Now we can out them. It's like you were down with it before, though.
All day.
So the same thing with Cassie, too. Like, we got to start putting these pieces together. Like, Cassie was no innocent person.
She was with him for 10 years. She could have left anytime she wanted.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So, again, it's a slippery slope. And then she's saying that, the escort himself said it. Yo, Diddy didn't say this. Yo, she said this. Urinate in my mouth. That's crazy. Like, what? What are we talking about?
If I'm the husband, Alex Fine, I'm getting the fuck out of there.
Wait, so that's her guy, right?
Yeah. Right?
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And she's pregnant now, right?
No, I think they already have babies.
No, she's pregnant
right now too.
Yeah.
But that's not, I think that's like their third kid or something like that.
It's a new pregnancy.
Yeah.
God damn, the shame. I couldn't do it.
That's optics. Yeah, that's for case, bro.
Oh, yeah, the show up pregnant is wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a piece on the board.
That shit was
It's a piece on the
wild.
board, So I think, you're not so innocent as we think.
Oh, I don't think that she's innocent at all.
Right.
Not even a little bit. Mm-hmm. I used to see her running around L.A. I was like, she could have left at any moment.
Right.
Any moment.
Just saying, now I'm so much of a victim. So, yeah, we'll see.
Now, probably one of the biggest conspiracies, at least to me, of all time, got to be 9/11. Can you clear some of that up for us?
So, before we get into that, I want to show a list of coincidences.
Okay.
That's very interesting, right? So, with 9/11 was a 33-year cycle. It started 33 years from the time it happened in 01, 33 years back. Now, a multitude of things happened in 1968. So we have George Bush Jr., who was the president when 9/11 happened. He graduates from Yale, 1968. That same year, the World Trade Center starts construction. That same year, the New York Jets win the Super Bowl. That same year, the code 911, the emergency code, was created. Okay? That same year, the movie Space Odyssey 2001 comes out. So it's who, what, when, where, why, all in 1968. 33 years later, then 9/11 happens. Okay? So this is a long plan that they've been doing. And then 33 being the highest, level of masonry too. That falls in line too. So with 9/11, I think, of course, it was an inside job. Jet fuel does not burn steel. Buildings don't collapse on themselves just when they don't get hit. Because that other building that they put insurance policy on just happened to collapse. So it's definitely an inside job. I don't think that some people say one of those planes aren't even real. Okay, so there's footage that shows a plane going into the building and it just disappears. It doesn't crash, it just disappears. What are they using back then? I don't know. But if you look at this footage, it's very strange. It goes right into the building and then it just explodes. Like explosives went off. Another thing too is that a security guard his eyewitness, he said he walks into one of the buildings right before the planes crash. It was very weird because on the ground level where you can get, your food and everything else, he walks in. He said coffee was still hot. Food was left there. It looked like everybody just got up and left. Right? And he's like, yo, what is happening? So it's almost like some people knew. Right? Another thing, too, on some bottom levels of the towers, they had construction going on before. And they were painting the steel with a certain type of paint. Now, what this paint is actually super flammable paint. It wasn't just traditional regular paint. And they found this material on these steel bars at the ground level. So definitely an inside job. Why? We don't know. I think it was because of the Patriot Act. I think it was within to gain more control, because since then, our rights are beginning to be privileges now.
Yeah.
Okay? So think about this. The Patriot Act comes in. Now they can kind of dictate who comes in, who comes out. They can stop you. Oh, are you a terrorist? This, that. They can say whoever, right? So it's just a step closer to martial law. And it was an excuse to go over and start a war and go get some gold too. So many levels of play here. So yeah.
What do you think the AI play is? Because it seems like even when you see like certain videos, be like, that's AI. This is AI. Now we don't know what's real and what's not real anymore. It seemed like it added way more confusion.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier to fake stuff, right? So like, this is what a lot of Hollywood was protesting when it comes to AI and everything else. For one, it was taking their jobs. But two, I think it all has to do with people being seen on tapes, Diddy, Epstein, all these other people. Because like now if a tape come out,
AI.
Oh, that's AI.
All day.
So I think that's very interesting too. Very interesting timing, because now we're talking about these files coming out. They can say, oh, that's AI. That's fake. That's not me. So again, I mean, I think that's very interesting timing. It's a slippery slope. But I think that when you like have protocols in place, like AI detecting AI, that's super important, because we're going into an era to where we don't know what's real and what's not.
You got any more conspiracy questions?
What's the one that you love the most, that kind of you're more or less intrigued by? What conspiracy is that you be like, this one's wild?
Mountain Dew conspiracy.
Oh, let's hear that.
You guys haven't heard that?
I haven't heard that.
Okay. So like, I've done some videos on it. It goes viral every time. People are really interested in it. And it's just a very interesting coincidence. So Mountain Dew has certain flavors that correlate with events. Not every flavor, but certain flavors that they really push, then a certain event happens. Going back to 9/11. So they have a Code Red flavor that comes out in May. A couple months later, what happens? 9/11 happens. It's in 2001. 9/11 is a Code Red. Okay. Maui Burst. That's a flavor that came out right before what? The Maui fires. 2 months later. Same thing. I told people to look for Pitch Black, which came out last year, top of the year. Then what happened? We had the biggest IT crash in history with CrowdStrike. It's Pitch Black. And then the end of that, like last year, they had a flavor called Infinite Swirl. Right after, what do we have? Hurricanes, tornadoes. Remember all those crazy hurricanes and tornadoes? Right? And get this one. They had a flavor called Star Spangled Splash last year. And what happened last year? The Francis Scott Key Bridge went down. That cargo ship, right? Who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key. Star Spangled Splash. So,
That's deep.
you know,
So
that's my favorite one.
So they like to, show it in your face.
Of course. And that's the thing too. Like Mountain Dew is owned by PepsiCo, right? And the CEO of PepsiCo is actually part of the World Economic Forum. He runs the food initiative for the World Economic Forum. Coincidence? Let you decide. So, but yeah, that's the one. And then you know what's funny too? So I did a video on that, and Mountain Dew themselves commented on my video, and they were like, "Keep your voice down."
Damn.
Yeah. They're playing into it, but I think that if you show it in front of everybody's face.
You took it that like they playing into it? Good for you.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, shit, I'm getting too close to home.
See, that's how they play though. They want you to feel like, this can't be real. They're playing along with it.
It's a playful warning. It's a warning for him, and everybody else is like,
That's crazy. Did you point that out in your videos?
Of course. I showed everybody. I made a post like, hey, look, Daily Mail just posted it the other day.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So they got to show.
You feel like you have too much information?
No, I feel like everybody has the same amount of information. Moving forward, everybody's going to know everything. It's just how it's conveyed and who knows how to articulate it. But think about it. We all have AI, right? We're going to all know the same thing at the same time. So nobody can really be smarter than each other at this point. It's just how do you utilize it? How do you use that information? So how do you execute it? Because everybody can't execute. They can have the information, but wisdom is having to take that knowledge and apply it. Because you can know a bunch of shit and just, work at T-Mobile and not do shit.
Right. What are the few things that we should look for in the upcoming months to years that you think is going to be a real big play or a real big future conspiracy? Do you see anything kind of building up right now?
I will say not so much a conspiracy versus the new shift when it comes to the monetary system. I think a huge shift. A lot of people are going to be lost. It's going to be haves and have-nots. I think the middle class is disappearing.
Yes.
And I think that if you're not reskilling and learning this new systems when it comes to blockchain, AI, new technologies, and everything else, I think you're going to be left behind. So I think that's the main thing we should be focused on, because we're going into smart cities. We're going into all this new shit that people aren't aware of and know how to control, or they don't know. They're going to be left in the dark when it comes to this stuff. So you got to learn, reskill, educate yourself, and then move from there.
Are there any smart cities in the United States currently?
Of course.
Which ones?
So they have one initiative that they're building called Meta Beach in, I want to say it is North Carolina. They have a smart city initiative in Texas,
when you
California.
say initiative, is it already in play and it's
in play?
Done?
It's in play and it's moving forward.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, since we are talking about certain things, I heard in Palisades they had a smart city that was supposed to be like they had it already built out, where it was going to be, the whole entire thing. Then all of a sudden it was a fire.
All of a sudden, right? And here's the thing. I'm from LA. There's no way a fire can jump from the Palisades, skip over, and then go to Altadena and Pasadena. There's no way.
No way in hell.
There's no way.
No way. All those fires at one time is ridiculous.
No, there's no way. Those are all started, right? Now, the smart city, LA, guess what year they're going to complete it in?
Olympics.
Right? That's a multi-billion-dollar play. When the Olympics is here, it's going to be so much money being made. So burn it all down, because all these people aren't going to sell. They're going to sell their homes and land for pennies on the dollar. They have a new railway going the same way that all that stuff got burnt up.
Those were rich people. Those rich people in Palisades, they're clued in.
But not rich. They're rich, but they're not rich.
Shit. What's the name? House burned.
Who?
What's the one actor? The white dude that everybody like? Did Wall Street? Wolf of Wall Street?
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, his house burned out.
See, my thing is this. It could be one of two things. It could be an insurance play, or you could just be rich and not in the know, right? Because all rich people aren't powerful. Think about that.
True.
It's about power, not money. You can dictate money with power. So
And the best way to, if you're interested in blockchain, like your book, Crypto Unlock, like it's a good read for people to stay in the know.
Yeah, that's one way. I'm actually going to release a new book, being more in depth, how to like utilize it, use it for business and everything else. But yeah, that's a good start. I have that book, and I also have another book called Prepare for a Societal Collapse, how to reskill and all these other things. So I think that you have to stay ready in order, you know, to combat what's happening.
Okay. Man, thanks for coming in, man.
Of course.
We really appreciate you. We're going to promote your book, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
send
Get it
us-
on Amazon. Go to maverickapproach.com. Find all my stuff
Yeah,
there.
if you post it, tag us, and we'll repost it for sure.
Okay, for sure. Definitely.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate
Thanks for
you guys.
coming down, man.
No, this is fun.
Anytime.
Yeah, we
Anytime.
gotta do it again, for sure.
Anytime, for
Appreciate
sure.
it.